Alright guys, so Joe did exactly what I wanted him to do. He welded this entire end cap on that my dad and I had cut off. I was gonna put, remember I was gonna put the circle or the filler right here and have it come out like a 90. Instead, we switched it straight to a 6-inch to come right out the top. He welded this up right here, and the biggest thing, he welded the dash 10 bungs over here, which I'm stoked. So came out clean. Guys, again, I will tag his Instagram probably right now, right here or right there. It'll say Rally Fab. Hit up Joe. He's right in Holbrook and Long Island. So if you're in Long Island or near it, send your, if you need a 25 5 gauge, if you need a 10 point, a 6 point, and if you need a smaller job like this, he can get it done. Great guy, very humble, awesome guy. So let's try to cut out our hole. I got to get my wiring situation and clean some of this up all at the same time. I've been slowly pulling things out of here. I pulled out my alternator and a couple of brackets. They're in my apartment. All right, guys, so I got to squeeze my freaking ass in here, get around that, and sit my ass down here because I got to cut right next to that oval, actually. All right, guys, so that's what I'm going to be cutting right there. It looks kind of crazy, but I'd rather cut bigger than cut a smaller one and then go bigger and bigger, but, you know, because I want to have a good template to weld this back in, actually. So let me get grinding. As you guys can see, this is all cut out, all ready to go. I just gotta flip-flop it back and forth to cut all the way out, and we're good. Make sure you guys wear gloves. And I could flat wheel all this down so it's nice and clean, but then wet so it's ready for it to get tacked back up. I think the hole's gonna really end up being like right here, actually. All right, guys, I wish I had the video on. This is super, super snug. I can actually just push it up a little bit higher there, and that is it. Where I cut it, yes, it's hitting the filler neck. I know. But I'm gonna leave it like that, only for right now, just because it's holding it tight. So, like, I'm not even putting that much force onto the fuel cell on my hand to hold it there. So, like, it's literally just, like, teeter-tottering, you know? But I'm gonna put the jack under it so it's level. And I'm gonna start building off of my this flange right here. I'm gonna build off of that. That's gonna be interesting. I know what I'm gonna do, so yeah. I'm gonna put a rod as a spacer, you know. Yeah, just an oval out rod, you know. It's a giant hole in it, whatever. Cut it to length, and then put a big ass bolt. Put a bolt, a nut in the inside, and a bolt from here, and that's it. That's for there. And then I have on the other side, on the back side. All right, guys, so I made the spacer for my one tab to hold up the fuel cell on the driver's side, actually. I just had regular, you know, overstock of this, what is it, 3/4 maybe less than that, maybe 1/2 inch, actually. And I actually had one of the bolts that I use for my fuel cell in the back of the car that I don't need anymore, so I'm going to reuse this. And I have the nut for that. And I wanted to make sure I had a good drill bit that I can use for this, so this will work out nice. I'm going to leave the fuel cell where it is in place right now, and then just get my gun and drill upwards towards the tab in through the hole that's pre-existing, and that's it. All right, guys, so as you can see, I did make my spacer up there. I actually had to trim it down a little more, my flat wheel. I think I'm really done for today, I'll be honest, because guys, I don't do this for a living. I don't do YouTube for a living and, filming and this and that, so I do have to do other things. I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's really about it. This fits all really, really, really well. I actually cut out more of my floor that I'll show you in a second, just so like that bend right there, it fits further in. Alright guys, so that is the inside view. It looks kind of hackish, but it's alright. I'll weld that all up. It'll look a lot cleaner. We'll see what my options are, honestly, if I can't weld it up. But I want to make, I want to clean out that entire fuel cell, because there's probably little metal residues, even though Joe cleaned it all out. I still want to clean it out more, and I think I even got some in just before, so just to be cautious, I want to clean it all out, then fully mount that, and fully mount everything, and then worry about dealing with this, this part, that I have to, cut that smaller and do that whole shenanigans. So, but all right, guys, so you see that bolt hole right there, right? It's like welded onto the fuel cell. Okay, honestly, I'm just gonna make a freaking L bracket, like from there going up towards there. I'm gonna have to drill a hole through the floorboard, put a nut and bolt there, and then just put a bolt there so it secures it, so it holds it upwards. It's super close to my upper square bar for my all-wheel drive kit. Sorry for the horrible angles. It is so tight back here, meaning where I'm at, and this is kind of like zoomed out so you guys can see. My face is basically right here. So just imagine trying to make a bracket for that. All I'm gonna do is get a measuring tape, honestly, and measure from that bolt up toward the floorboard and make an L out of it. Drill 2 holes in it, or drill 1 hole, get that bolted in, and kind of eyeball where that hole's gonna be inside the car. All right, guys, so I made this bracket really quick, just an L shape. I measured from the bolt hole upwards towards the floorboard, which is 2 3/4. But actually, I made my hole just a little bit bigger, and obviously more room on the back end. This part is going to be going upwards flat against the floorboard. I don't know where this hole is going to be yet. So it's really, I got to kind of guess where this lands and where it's going to be on the inside of the car. But right now, I'm just going to take a flat wheel, clean these edges up because you got metal coming out of everywhere. Clean that up right there. And then I got to go back under the car, bolt this up, and then see where this top half lands. All right, guys, what I'm doing, I'm actually going to make a bracket from this hole also going up. I'll drill a hole right kind of where it cut off. It'll make like a nice little L bracket. Because I need to get this side honestly level before I start working on the other side. That other bracket that I just showed you before will work great, but I need to have the side like fastened in order for me to figure out exactly where that one hole is going to be to drill to keep that bracket upwards to the floorboard like I was explaining before. Yeah, this is getting a little tricky, so I'm just trying to see what I have, what I can do. So I'm just gonna make an L bracket like I did before, something small. It'll take me like 2 minutes to make it, so let's get to it. What's up, guys? Right now it's still part of day 4, road to 7s, but I didn't work in the trailer, I don't think yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was Thanksgiving Eve. Today is Thanksgiving, but I have about 2 hours until I go see my family. So I'm gonna actually go work on my bracket for the 2 fuel pumps. I finally figured out what I'm gonna do. Check it out, look. So I'm gonna be mounting this one first. I'm gonna make all 4 of my holes, right? Probably like right to the edge just so it's nice and clean. Put 2 bolts in it just to hold it up. I'm gonna put my my pump on it, wherever my pump is. I have 1 pump right there and the other one right here. So I'm gonna mount it to these 2 holes right here. Okay, the stock mounting points for the pumps. Once I put that on, then I'm gonna see exactly where this is gonna go. I don't want to put them too close together right now because obviously only one pump's gonna fit if that's not even all the way. So let me do this first, make 4 little holes, or even 2 right now. I'll do 4, and put 2 bolts in it just to hold it, and then see where that bracket's gonna land, make my 4 holes. Same thing that I did with that one. And then I'm actually gonna be using this hole right here. That's gonna be bolted to the fuel cell. There's actually a little nipple, a female, that I could screw a tenon through there to the fuel cell. And then there's another one up here, I think probably like right here, or maybe I gotta make a hole here. And that's where it's gonna go. I don't know why it took me so long to figure this out, but this will work. All right, guys, sorry for all this freaking mess, whatever. So this is all basically bolted on. It's nice and sturdy. So now I gotta figure out where this one's gonna go, but I can't just place it here and be like, all right, I'll drill the holes here. What I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna attach one of the bolts to the pump, or probably both of them, and then place it on, and then get my black Sharpie, make a line here and here, and then square it up, and that's it. All right, guys, so the pumps are gonna actually just sit like this, right? I do wanna have a little bit of a gap. I personally just didn't want them butt up against each other. That's just me. But I made my line, one on that little side, and one right there. So now I'm gonna take my bracket back off, outline it, see where the holes are, drill them out, put the bolts through it, and size it up on the car. All right, guys, so I finally got the fuel filters up. Okay, remember, guys, these are not small fuel filters. These are Magnafuel 750s, as you can see. Okay, I made that bracket that I showed you before. It all mounted up to the 2 tabs that are pre-welded that were on the fuel cell originally. So I used it to my advantage. This, obviously, you can see, is way too long. The fitting goes way past that further fitting. So I think I'm gonna swap this out, actually. And I'm gonna use this, actually, to go in line with right after the fuel pump, okay? And I'm gonna run 2 fuel filters, one off of this one off of this one, but small runs, you know, straight to this fitting back there, and there's a fitting right here. It's kind of hard to see, right there. This one and that one's gonna have a filter. I want to have 2 pre's and 2 pre filters and 2 post filters. But now this line is super long. As you guys can see, I have these lines are freaking long now, right? So I gotta cut that side shorter down. This is where I have my where is it? Actually, my Y fitting's right there, so I gotta cut those 2 lines that are attached to that Y fitting, cut it down a little shorter, and this return line has to go all the way to right there, to the bottom of it. I think I have it too. Yeah, one goes to the fuel rail and one goes to the return. So guys, I'm all done. Happy Thanksgiving. This is probably actually gonna get posted tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow night. It was a little bit kind of crazy trying to do the fuel cell, then do the filters. The filters really had to figure out, the fuel pumps, I keep saying. Fuel pumps, took me a little bit to try to figure out how to mount it, honestly. It was a little discouraging, but sometimes you have to walk away and try to really think about what you can do instead of just pondering there for hours and hours and hours and not really come up with anything. So on that note, happy Thanksgiving. Be safe, don't drink and drive, and I will see you guys on the next one. Later, guys.